guys! So it is Tuesday, it's election day, and I just wanted to basically talk about my experience voting, who I voted for, what issues I cared about this year, and why I voted. So hopefully this will be a quick vlog, and I haven't really prepared anything. I just wanted to basically talk about it because I think it's an important issue. And so I got my sticker. So today I voted. The first thing I wanted to talk about was voter ID law. This is the first year that Virginia has required identification to vote. I'm really against this law because voter fraud, this is supposed to be combating voter fraud, and it's pretty much non-existent. You know, there are about 400,000 estimated registered voters in my state, Virginia, that won't be able to vote this year because they don't have a valid form of ID. And the number could be lower because that doesn't include people with a college ID or a work ID. And luckily, you know, unlike some other states like Texas, college ID and work ID are accepted. You do have to verify your address. You know, basically, I just wanted to say that I'm against this law, and I think that, you know, there are hundreds of thousands of people in my state alone, let alone the, I think, 13 other states that have enacted this law recently, that, you know, they're not going to be able to vote. And it's a constitutional right that we have the right to vote, and it's appalling to me that the states have that the courts have upheld this law, these laws. And you know, I just think that it really sucks. There's no way else to put it. Luckily, I had my ID. My husband had my ID, but you know, there are people who live in bigger cities that don't drive, don't have a driver's license, don't need an ID. You know, and luckily in my state they do have a provision in place that if you don't have an ID and you want to vote, you can still cast a ballot. You just have to verify your ID with your identification within a week, and there's steps to do that. And anyone at the polling place will be able to tell you how to go about doing that. But you know, there are states like Texas where they don't have that provision, and it's kind of just like, well, fuck you. You're not going to get to vote because you're poor, or you're a minority, or you're young, or you're old, which are the categories of people that are most affected by this law. And you know, it's just, that's another reason for you to go out and vote. Laws like this are put in place to keep people like you from voting. So if you can vote, go out and do it. But I basically, aside from that, wanted to talk about who I voted for and why. So I voted for Mark Warner. He's my Democratic senator running for re-election against Ed Gillespie, who is Republican, former lobbyist, former assistant Attorney General, or maybe Deputy Attorney General, I'm not sure the exact title. But he worked under Ken Cuccinelli, who failed for governor last year, 2 years ago? Last year? And he's just basically a Tea Partier, you know, and he's done these horrible ads I've been seeing that are just pretty much blatant lies. I mean, I'm pretty up on politics, especially in my state. And, you know, it's insane. Maybe this is a topic for another video, but, you know, hopefully Mark Warner's set to win, so hopefully that will happen. The other person I voted for was Suzanne Collins for my congressional district, 2nd District in Virginia, against Scott Rigell, who's our current Republican congressman. What's really interesting about the 2nd District is it's been gerrymandered to hell. 2nd and 3rd District, the courts actually recently ruled the 3rd District illegal, which is bordering my 2nd District. And it's crazy because I live in a majority black city. And as expected, usually we vote Democrat in this city. Whereas the city next to us, Virginia Beach, is majority white, and they vote Republican, typically. I do live in a working class white neighborhood. I think there's maybe 2 black people that I know that live in my neighborhood. It's, only a couple neighborhoods in my city are like that, where it's very segregated, and I didn't choose the house because of that, but we have family in the neighborhood that have lived here for, 20, 30 years, and this is just where we found a house that we liked. And so they've gerrymandered my district to be lumped in with Virginia Beach's district, even though we're an entirely different city with an entirely different financial, socioeconomic, and cultural background. We're completely different, even though I am from Virginia Beach. So, I mean, not necessarily for me, but they know that white people tend to vote Republican, and we are working class, middle-aged white people neighborhood, and so they have lumped us in with Virginia Beach, along with several other neighborhoods throughout the city that are not connected. It's not one district. We actually have islands of the 2nd district surrounded by the 3rd district. And the courts have ruled that they have to redraw those districts starting in April. They have to submit it. So it won't be effective for this election, obviously, but hopefully next election I'll be somewhere else. But so I voted for Suzanne Collins. She's the Democrat. I don't know much about her other than I know that I don't like Scott Rigell. So that's basically why I voted for her. And then we had 2 provisions on the ballot. One was for direct school board elections, and I'm really in favor of that because our schools suck, and my kid's going to be going to school in 3 years, and we can't afford private school yet. Hopefully we can save up and get her into the private school that me and my husband went to, but it's not looking good. We got a lot of bills to pay, we got a lot of things we want to save up for, and schooling's one of them, but it's not the most urgent, especially when we have free school right down the street from our house. So I'm hoping that, direct school board elections will pass in my city, because it's really shocking to me that that's not already the case. The other provision was for allowing war widows to get tax-exempt status on their houses after their husbands have been killed in action, and obviously I support that, because we already have tax-exempt status for current members of the military spouses who are overseas. So yeah, so that those should be some pretty easy things to pass. But basically what I wanted to say with this vlog, I know it's rambly and I haven't really prepared anything specific, but I just wanted to say, even if there's not a candidate that fits exactly what you want, and for me there wasn't, there's no progressive candidate in Virginia, or at least in my district, so even if there's not someone that fits exactly what you want, you gotta vote for someone who's the closest to what you want. And the more people that vote, especially young people, especially minorities, especially young families, the more people that vote, the more progressive our candidates will be. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I'm a liberal, I want liberals to win. I want progress. I want things reformed. I want our criminal justice system reformed. I want our drug laws reformed. I want our health care reformed, more than Obamacare. I want, I want socialized Medicare. I want to know that if I am hit by some guy without insurance and he can't afford my medical bills, that I won't be stuck paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for something that I didn't do wrong. Or if I get cancer, I don't want to be, putting a financial burden on my family to survive. So I believe in socialized Medicare. I believe in Medicaid for everyone, especially for poor people who definitely can't afford it. Like, it would suck for us if we had to do that, but we'd get by. We might lose our house, but we'd have food on the table. But so there's a bunch of things that I want to reform, and the only way that's going to happen is if I vote and people like me vote. So if this is up before your polling place is out, remember there's lots of cities, there's lots of states that allow same-day registration. Virginia's not one of them. Sorry, you had to register by October 14th. But if you are in one of those states, go out and vote, make a difference. You know, your vote might not matter specifically, but all of us together, it does make a difference. So that's basically what I wanted to say, and I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.